Hello, everyone. Welcome to the GTM Loop. I'm Angie Milano, and this is
Holly Glowaty. And we are talking about how to build go-to-market strategies that actually work. Real stories, real tactics and conversations that can help you sell it, keep it, or grow it.
And today we are excited to talk about something that we both have either been a part of as a seller or as a buyer, which is the idea of buying with empathy. Not as like a personality trait or anything that has to do with doing good deeds.
Yes.
More or less thinking through what is the selling approach when you're thinking about a product as a partnership or something that fits a mission or a goal or a strategy, and not as a transactional widget that you're selling someone for short term.
Yeah. And one thing I was thinking about when I knew we were going to do this topic is I think often empathy gets like, as sales, I think is traditionally thought of as kind of aggressive, right?
Right.
So empathy gets a little like, people are like, oh, that's cute. Like
that's wishy-washy.
I've had people push back on me when I've given feedback or said, we just need to come at this with a little more empathy or sympathy or from their perspective, or we need to be prepared for a different conversation. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think it is hard to be empathetic because it requires real listening. But I always say the best sellers are the best listeners. Yeah,
exactly. More than they talk. And I think one of the bigger things that I've been seeing in the industry lately is centered around folks saying, well, we know that credit unions are buying a lot, so we want to get into that as basically an ICP that we want to sell into.
Yeah.
And the next question that I always ask is, why? What is it that makes your product compelling to a credit union? And typically it's more of just getting access to those dollars that are in budgets.
I know.
And I think that's not a long-term strategy, because if you're just selling a product to fit your revenue goals, I don't think that makes for a partnership down the line, which is what success is anchored on.
Well, and when we think about these sellers, actually, let's talk about the buyers.
Let's talk about the buyers. That's a better place to start.
When I think about the buyers in particular, what's at risk? What are they worried about? It's not just solving a problem. And I often think we as sellers come in with like, you need a nail driven into that board. Here's a hammer. Let's go. And it's like, no, that's not all of it. That is God, sales would be so easy if that was all of it, right? It's just, that's not the case. You're looking at someone who maybe, depending upon the size, maybe they lead a team, or maybe it's going to be their day-to-day that's changed by this. Right. So you have to think about what that means. That's going to change maybe some requirements, maybe the processes that they've had in place for sometimes decades. Though, right?
You're right. Decades a better way. Well, when I was in the credit union space, I'd been at the credit union for 20 to 30 years.
Yes.
And I think the other part that comes along with this is there's reputational risk for them.
That's the thing.
Because if they select the wrong partner and it goes south, that could mean not only their reputation, it can mean a promotion is not achieved. Some people have gotten fired over making poor decisions, or if members don't adopt and don't embrace or have issues with the technology, that's a huge attrition risk.
Yeah. So there's just like, there's a high personal risk. And I don't care what you think, like you're selling to a person at the end of the day.
100%.
I don't know. I'm sure we've said it on this podcast before, but the amount of times that I've had a deal go south because one person entered the conversation.
Yeah.
And you're like, where did you come from? They just like come out of the bushes like Homer Simpson, or well, he proceeds into it, but it's like, it's just like, you're like, why? Right. We're all good here, but they'll derail it. And so you have to think about the people you're selling to. It might be a B2B transaction, but there's a human in that business.
And it fits all of the different goals that they have, KPIs. Potentially they could have a team, and that team's growth or shrink depends on how well the product does. So that's something to think about too. So I think one of the the bigger points that I think about is setting the revenue goals, especially if you're looking at how to go after a brand new ICP, whether it's a credit union or whether it's another fintech.
Yeah.
It's setting up the revenue goals for your team or for yourself to align with the length of time and the number of people it takes to make the decision. Because it's different. You know, if you're selling to a credit union versus a fintech.
Yeah, that's very true. And I guess, in your opinion, where does empathy fit in understanding all that?
I think it's getting to know the why of getting into that group or that ICP.
Yeah.
And understanding their process. Because what you brought up earlier, which is the people that come out of the bushes, if you understand the process and you get to know what is their end goal, and on even like on a higher level, if you're going to go and do the exercise of breaking into a new ICP, understanding how they buy, because then you know exactly who needs to be in the room and what is in it or what is the risk for them. Yeah, that's where empathy comes in. It's not always just understanding them as a person. It's understanding the institution. What do they need to make a decision and what's important to them? Yeah. Which is kind of ICP in general, but it takes it a step further when you're running the exercise of someone like you or me or anyone asking, why are you getting into this vertical? And I get this all the time. Well, I hear they're buying. It's like,
honestly, we do hear that a lot.
We do hear that a lot, but that doesn't mean that's a fit for you.
Until my last company was a QSO, I had literally never even sold into credit unions. But I never even considered selling to credit unions. And it was only when we found it to be just like a really harmonious fit that we went that route. And I think about it a lot because now I have more people ask me, like, how did you become a QSO? What is that like? I mean, it's just one of those things where you're like, wow, I swear to God, like, is it just like, no one asked me this ever.
No, it's definitely a momentum. I feel like everyone heard, oh, credit unions are, really taking the leap into really buying fintech, really evaluating and thinking about.
Which is true. And it's amazing.
True.
Yes.
But not every product is for them. No. And the other thing is that I think about all the time is having empathy for the other person that you're interacting with is more than just getting on sales calls and writing demos. The amount of times, and I know I've said this before. Yeah. The amount of times I connect with somebody on LinkedIn and the next thing that happens is my company builds blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, good. I don't even
need that.
I don't need that. Can we please talk about empathy as it relates to social selling?
Oh my God. Yes, please.
Because I feel like if you're being real, if you're actually connecting with people because you want to expand your network, you want to get to know maybe how something works, or you want to get some feedback for your product. Yeah. Then do that. But mean it. Don't just use it as a carrot to have somebody take a call with you. And I feel like a lot of times that's what happens. It's like, I want to enter into this market. I'm going to send all these connection requests. I'm going to say, hi, I'm looking to expand my network. And then the next thing that happens is, we know, my least favorite thing in the world.
Oh, yes.
The pitch slap. Yes. It happens every time. So that is something that I think thinking about selling with empathy across all of the different touch points. It's the call that you do for a demo, the way that you engage on LinkedIn, the way that you say, hey, I saw this and thought of you, but actually mean it. And it does relate to them. That's where I think it goes awry when awry. There you go. There's my words not sounding right. Basically, it goes wrong when you act like you're being interested in what they're doing, but then across all your different channels, there's a different level of engagement.
Oh my gosh. I learned this one the hard way. Like, I thought I was being smooth. I thought I was being, early in my career, I thought, like, this is the way I'm going to get to people. And, early in my career, it's not like people were doing a ton on social media in terms of selling.
That's changed a lot.
But I think it showed up online. It showed up in person. It's sort of that over eagerness, right? And you can smell it on people.
Yes.
And I was absolutely the most over eager.
I think we all were, especially when you first start selling. You're like, I'm going to crush it. It's going to be great. And
You
you're like,
ever think back and you're like, oh God,
I was so nice.
yeah. I have a lot of empathy when I see those kids coming. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, I remember.
I know. I remember feeling like, oh, why would anybody ever say no to me? Because I'm friendly. I know the industry. Our product is great. And then I was like, why? Why would they say no to me? I'm going to commit everything.
I am a ray of freaking sunshine.
Exactly. Have you met me? So I think it's tough out there, like trying to break into accounts still, trying to manage social selling, all the different things that make for a long-term strategy into an industry. And it takes time and it takes consistency. It's something that actually you said it to me about something else this week. You said the number one thing that drives loyalty is consistency.
Yeah, it does.
I don't know what else is a better thing to get people to relate to you and give you access to their projects or their business than feeling like you're loyal to them, they can trust you.
Yeah.
You care at the end of the day about what happens to them.
Well, and this goes to, as you were talking, I was thinking about this. I was like, so it's not just consistency in the way that you sell, but the way you onboard, the way that you take care of your customers.
Yes.
Because I think a lot of startups are just, and again, things I've been guilty of, like you're so excited to get someone on board, you get them there, and then it's like customer service kind of goes by the wayside. It's like, we got them, they're in.
And then they go, we don't know what happens after them.
But we've talked about this when Angie and I do like workshops or courses, we kind of talk about, well, obviously we call this the GTM loop because we think it is a self-fulfilling loop. It feeds back, right? So when you have customers who, and especially if you're selling into credit unions,
yes,
they all talk. You know what? Banks talk to each other too.
Yeah.
Honestly, we make it sound like they don't, but community bankers do. And so here's the thing, like they're all going to talk to each other. So if you can treat people well, that will pay back tenfold. Also, sometimes I feel like there's this idea that you can't be transparent with your customer. Like if there's an issue, obviously you can't tell them everything all the time. You don't want to sound like a hot mess. But
especially startup life.
Yeah.
You're like, today this blew.
Let me tell you what happened. Like, I know we don't need that. No. But if there is an issue, be forthright.
Yeah.
Tell people, because again, you're selling to adults who have a brain in their head and they can tell something's wrong. So there's just things like that where empathy goes such a long way, because at the end of the day, fintech is partnership.
Yes.
You are providing a service, generally speaking. Again, this may not apply to all of our listeners, but it's, you're supplying a service or a product or whatever to a financial institution, and that is then being provided to their customers or members.
Always.
So you've got to really think about the importance of that. You are not a vendor. You're a partner.
That is a huge thing to talk about.
Yeah.
What separates the companies that come in, the startups that come in and pitch to you, and you look at them and you're like, yeah, this is a vendor. I don't see anything past this conversation or this idea for including you in an RFP or something like that.
Yeah.
Versus like, oh yeah, I want to work with this person. I think it starts with how genuine the team is that they first meet and how comfortable they feel with that person actually taking their idea, their project, their end goal.
Yeah.
And it all starts with understanding discovery and really being engaged in that conversation.
I think so. And I mean, when you're a vendor, you still have to answer calls when there's issues, but there's no, when I think about vendors I have, I'm not generally, brainstorming with them. It's really more of that, great, you give me this, I get X, da, da, da. And if you decide that's the relationship you want, you got to take a look at your tech stack the requirements, who all is touching it. Because at the end of the day, I think most people who sell into fintech, they need to come at this with a partnership mindset.
Yes.
And partnership means it's a two-way street.
Always. And you're keeping in dialogue with them. Because I think the part that's different about selling into financial institutions is, you touched on it earlier, which is ultimately you're really selling to that member, that customer. And because it's dealing with people's money, transactions, it's very much disruptive if you mess it up for their end consumers.
Yeah.
It's the idea that it's constant. Which, like, you think about a vendor, like I don't know, let's pick on a vendor, our email provider, for example.
Yes. I never have called them.
I have no idea who would even call. I'm going to send an email. It's going to go into Zendesk or whatever they use.
Yes.
I'll hear about it later and they'll be like, you're in a queue. We don't care about you. There's a million of you. That's a vendor and it's fine. I don't expect anything else. But if my loan origination system goes down and I have a bunch of applications, or I'm running a promotion, or something is happening that I need to drive signups or new loan origination, that's a big deal.
Yes.
Because my member, my customer will go somewhere else. So I'll lose the revenue, but then the reputation is they're not reliable. So if I need something else, I won't even think to go to you.
Yeah.
I'll go somewhere else.
Totally. I won't recommend you. I mean, how many times have you ever bought a product or even checked it out because someone recommended it to you? That's generally all the time. That is the truth. That holds true for businesses as well. So, take care of people. But again, you don't have to, it's not complicated. It is just being consistent.
Yes.
Consistency is what matters. If people know what to expect from you and then you surprise and delight them every now and then, that is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to be like rock star, going above and beyond, building extra features, blah, blah. No, people respect boundaries, but you'd better show up at that boundary line. You know what I mean?
And actually be there
for them.
And you know what's interesting is, this is something that I always think about in the roles I've had. So I've worked at companies that were bigger and smaller. The bigger ones, typically when you close your deal, you move it over to account managers or someone who's in success. And then as a sales rep or an AE, you're out of the loop.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I think is really good practice, and I see a lot of companies do this, is, yes, I'm your AE. You're not going to talk to me day to day. You have a person that's assigned to you.
Yeah.
However, if I'm in town, if I'm doing something, if I have some kind of event, I'm going to call you and I'm going to say, let's go to dinner. Let's chat.
Totally.
Let's have a conversation. Or I might send you something that's an article or something that you would want to read, because that keeps that interaction going with the first person that they connected with. Typically, it's usually the AE that they connect with right out of the gate. So is that our teams that are a little bit smaller and aspiring to get to that process, what do you think people should be looking at to say, I'm going to hire this person and they're either going to do all of it from start to finish, because we don't have a budget to have an AM, an account manager. And how do you set up all your process so that they could grow into passing it on to somebody else?
I won't lie. I hate having salespeople be account managers.
I agree with that.
I hate it.
So we're not
hunting versus farming.
Totally
You're gonna go to farming every time.
all the time, because that's what pays you.
Exactly. You're gonna default to, okay, well, I don't have to go and do all these follow-ups and blah, blah, blah. It's easier, I think, because I think salespeople are inherently relationship people.
Yes.
Who just happen to like to sell as well.
Right. Yes. Who like to be, punished by difficult.
Oh, that's right. There it is. Done with therapy.
Sometimes you're like, beat me up. It's okay.
All right. Fine. Oh my God.
So true. I feel like sometimes it's about the puzzle and getting to the end. And so you're going to run into hurdles, but when you complete the puzzle at the end, you're like, I did it.
Yeah.
That's what drives live sales. There's different types of salespeople.
There definitely are.
There's extroverts that are relationship people. There's introverts that just like to complete the puzzle. And the account management side is painful for them.
That's true.
because they don't like that.
Yeah. And so I genuinely hate having to do that to salespeople because if you are someone who has been living your entire career for commission,
right,
this is a very different motivation.
Yeah.
And I think you have to, it's kind of the same thing we're talking about here. Mm-hmm. It's like, you got to find people's motivation and you have to be able to, I don't like the way I'm phrasing this, but I was going to say you kind of have to be able to play on that. But I mean, if you don't understand how someone's motivated and you put them in a role where they want to be chasing a carrot all the time,
right?
And you're like, no, we planted a bunch of carrots for you.
Like
that's not fun.
Enticing to me.
No. And so I think it's the same thing. It's even hiring with empathy.
Right? I was just going to say, building your team. So empathy doesn't just have to face out.
Yeah.
It can face in. So as a person who is leading a team or a founder who is looking to grow their team or their first hire, it's also hiring with empathy and not throwing things at someone just because they're a body that's in your organization.
Well, and you asked the question, how do you hire if you really do need someone who can kind of do both for a little bit? Mm-hmm. If you are like a small company, I would say invest in like a personality test.
Yes.
Because you could ask someone all day, what do you like? What do you not? How about do one? I look back at my personality test. I've taken so many, guys.
Me too.
I've taken so many. And my uncle ran a company called the Predictive Index. And so I've been doing these forever. And it's really funny how like the first time I took it, I was 18 and now I'm
25.
Right. Why did I didn't say that, of course. Okay. But it was like literally the same.
Yeah, me too. Mine are always the same.
Mine's like, Holly has a loose approach to the book, meaning I don't like rules.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't like restrictions. I don't like repetitive things.
No, I don't either.
I love relationship management. Don't like account management.
Right. It's exactly the same.
And I don't know if a young hire understands the difference.
Yes, because you could build relationships. You go to a conference, you meet all these people, you're excited. You want to bring them in, you want to get them to the next step, but you don't want to have to be the one that actually takes that account and grows it and refines it and makes it into what it needs to be as part of a partnership. There are different skill sets. I think it's funny with the personality tests is there's also people who are misleading, I guess. I'm one of those people. So in every single personality test that I've gotten, I'm what's called a woo person.
Oh, me too.
Winning others over.
Yes.
It's easy for me to make friends and connect with people. I'm very extroverted.
It's shocking.
On the outside, yeah, right. I'm sure you're so surprised. on the like when you see me, that's what you see. The reality is, my second thing is I'm also very like type A, and so the first one I ever did, it was colors based. My colors were red and yellow. Yellow was like super extrovert, like the way people normally think of when they think of me. The red was type A, and the tagline was, be bright, be brief, be gone. And I feel that way.
Yes.
Like if I get an email or something that is a paragraph with no breaks, with no bullets, I'm not going to read it.
Yeah. So these are the things you can figure out about your team. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? And they'll look at it and it'll resonate with them. You can look at it, and a lot of these things will give you guidance. Like, this person is best managed this way and would fit well in this, or like it gives you that guidance.
Yes.
So it's worth it. You know, I forget how much some of these are, but it's worth it to do it and have these administered. It'll give you some insight. It'll help you understand culture-wise if they'll fit. I think those are just some easy little, yes, you're going to have to spend some money, but believe me, you don't want to have to go through the hiring process again.
No. And you know what? That brings me to another thing. It's good to implement those types of tests in hiring. It's even better to do them as workshops. Maybe that could be a good sales kickoff exercise, way better than role playing. Also, it could be a good like quarterly kind of thing that you do with your team, or maybe once a year, where especially as new people come on the team, have them go through it and do a team exercise of like, if you're a type A person, if you're me, and if you have 3 Hollies, 2 Angies, and then 1 like super analytical person, that analytical person is gonna like die being close to all of people like us. Have that.
We're a fun jolt of energy for them, like 1 hour out of the day.
Yeah,
you know,
like get them out of here. But the workshops I've done where you, especially when you're on teams where you're working with product or engineering, they find you amusing for about an hour a day. And then after that, like, I got to buckle down. I can't deal with you. The workshops where you do these team kind of building workshops that work around your personality types on your team actually helps not only to drive empathy for how people work, but also where you put them in front of clients.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Because
so true.
Want to put somebody who's very, very introverted and not used to talking to customers or clients on a sales call. Give us some examples.
Oh my God. Because this conversation has gone so off the rails. I know. We were going to talk about empathetic selling, and now we're just talking about empathy in your business. This is great. All right. I'll do one little anecdote and then we probably should wrap it up.
Yes.
But I am married to a true introvert, but he's very like personable. Everyone thinks he's outgoing, but it takes like a lot out of it. Right. And so he got put on, as like a sales engineer role. I think it was a few weeks in and he's like, how do you do this all day? Just hated it so much. And it was just because like people like really love him, and he's gonna be so embarrassed if he hears this, but they really do. Like, it's awesome. Like people meet him and they're like, oh my God, yeah, love him. Yeah. And it's funny because I think that's what happens to like, oh my gosh, you get the tech side and you can have conversations and you seem good in front of a group. Let's throw them in sales. That's so different.
So different.
And it's so hard. It drained him so much. He hated it. He really like, never again. But like, that's the thing. On the surface, I'm sure he looked like the perfect fit for that. And he was willing to give it a try. Right. But it was like draining him every day.
I can see that. I can totally understand that. So I think the idea of like bringing all of this together is empathy. While it seems like something that is like a personality thing, it really is an overarching concept in selling, in building a business, in building a team. And often I think it's overlooked.
I think so too. One thing I would actually recommend, Angie's been hearing me say this like for like the last 2 weeks. I've been reading the book Super Communicators. Yay. It is so good. It is so good. Everyone should read it, I think, or listen to it or whatever is your thing. It's just a really fascinating look at how to connect with people. It's everything from selling to doctors talking to patients to FBI negotiators, like talking about effective communication. And I think that is the root of performing empathetically, I guess, right? Of showing up empathetically. It's trying to have a connected conversation. So that would be a recommendation, just something tactical to sort of round out the episode. Yeah.
So in a nutshell, if you want to win in life, in business, in selling, in communicating as a whole, think about empathy first and incorporate it into all of your process. You'll have better working teams, better partnerships with your clients, better partnerships with the ecosystem.
Absolutely.
And then read the book, Super Communicators.
Yes. We'll link to it.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us.
All right, everyone. See you on the next one.
Time.
Bye.
Bye.